Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Thank you for watching. It's a beautiful day out. A little extra on the sun here, but hey, enjoy it while you can. Anyhow, the one thing I've had discussions on with Trump supporters on social media is sometimes I would tell them, not in like a reproachful way, but to try and point an important point out, is that they are voting against their best interests. And of course they deny it, they refuse, I get all the backlash and stuff like that. I'm used to it. It's not a lot of it, but it's still there. So this is how I titled this one, Saving MAGA from MAGA. Because the one thing I posted out about the whole MAGA thing, it's not about country, it's not even about America first, even though that's some of the silly slogans that they like to point out. And it's the fact that it is all about serving one person. That is Trump. That one person is not you. So let me break it down and let me go through some of the different groups from, let's start with white supremacist groups, hate groups and everything. The ones that are really into Donald Trump because of the fact that, well, he is a racist. Now, what I would say to them if I was talking to any of the members is, what exactly do you get out of it under a second Trump presidency? Now, right off the bat, when he wins, yeah, sure, they're going to be celebrating. I get it. They're going to be all happy now, okay? Their cult leader is won. You know, they'll feel empowered and everything. Hate crimes, once again, will go up, just like it did on his first administration. But now, let's look at some of the policies that he's proposed. As far as tax cuts for the wealthy, he did that one time, he intends to do it again. How do you benefit from that? Are you a millionaire or are you a billionaire? Do you have a lot of money and everything? Because if the answer is no, then you don't benefit from that at all. If anything, most likely it'll turn around and hurt you. What about the tariffs and everything? That has been proven by different economic experts that it's not going to help the country in any way. And the person that's going to feel the brunt of it are the working class, those in poverty and stuff like that, especially farmers, just like it happened during, again, his first administration. Okay? So if you don't win anything economically, and he's looking to like strip away rights through Project 2025, he wants to do away with like the Department of Education, how would that benefit your children? You might think right off the bat, like they've talked about in the past, how they want to whitewash slavery, you know, because we don't want, you know, white children to feel bad in school and everything. On the surface, that may seem like a pipe dream to you, okay? But in reality, that kind of de-educates your children, and in the long run, that makes it easier for him to win people over, because we know just how much he loves the poorly educated, which I keep saying, that is not a compliment, that is an insult. He's pretty much saying, you're stupid and I love it because it's easier for me to manipulate you, which is exactly what he does. I'm saying that respectfully, but it is the truth. So, like I said, you know, for all the, you know, white people out there who, you know, support this guy, you're not going to make it a whole lot in the long run. And what's even worse is some of the other policies by the GOP. Maybe some of these weren't specifically said by Donald Trump, but they have been said by other prominent GOP members, and you can bet they will try and put it into effect. They have already talked about making cuts to Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. You're entitled to those, so why should we make cuts to them and everything and stuff like that? That won't impact the wealthy or the 1%, which Donald Trump likes to cater to. That would negatively impact the working class. So once again, another negative. Nikki Haley has put out the idea of increasing the retirement age. You don't think she would put that idea out a second time? Before she said Donald Trump is all unfit, now she's all in favor of him and everything and stuff like that. So clearly she's a liar, but in this case, I think she would actually try and push that policy or throw the idea out there. You don't think Donald Trump would try and do that? Think again. So if you were thinking of retiring anytime soon, you may want to reconsider. You may not have that option. And even if you did, with cuts to Medicare and Medicaid, that could compromise your health care in the long run as you get older. What then? You may want to protest or do something like that, or you might feel you might be being treated unfairly at work. But just like you saw in the interview with Elon Musk, where, you know, he said if workers strike, Elon would just fire them all, and Trump just laughed, kind of agreed with it. Well, that's kind of like where you stand in his eyes. He's got the presidency. He doesn't care about you. He only cares about your vote. That's what he said. So if you're not doing well at work and, you know, you don't have the benefits and you want to go on strike, that may work against you. You may want to protest against Donald Trump, but he's already, talked about, weaponizing the military and the National Guard and the police to go against protesters, that are protesting against him. So, again, you're pretty much stuck. So on that note, I say, you may like him because he's a racist to all the hate groups out there, but he's still going to work against you. I seriously doubt if the vast majority of members of hate groups out there, or just racists in general, are of the rich upper class. I'm sure there's some, but the majority of you are not. You're in the working class. So you're not going to benefit from Trump in the long run. Let's talk about women for Trump. We see that a lot. Wow. That's an interesting one. Donald Trump, who has been found guilty of sexual assault, who a judge considered him to be a rapist, who's made some pretty ugly and misogynistic remarks against female politicians, who has bragged about grabbing them by the you-know-what, who has said that when he used to run the beauty pageant, he used to love to pop in on the women's dressing room while they were changing, just so you can get a cheap thrill. And he said a whole bunch of other disgusting things, to say nothing about bragging about, undoing R.V. Wade. That wasn't entirely him, just to be fair, but he still had a big part of it. And he still has a majority of the Supreme Court on his side. So with him back in the presidency, he can do a lot more harm. He can continue to strip away rights. You don't think he would do a nationwide abortion ban? Think again. He's shying away from it now. I know some of you are going to be like, oh no, he's leaving it up to the states. But look what a lot of the red states are doing, finding more and more ways to deprive women of health care, to deprive them of access to abortion, which in some cases is needed in the case of like a miscarriage or a pregnancy with complications. And it's because of what Donald Trump has done, there have been a lot of incidents across the country, especially in red states, where, women are suffering, some are actually dying, or some of them lose the ability to reproduce. But I thought he was pro-life. You got Moms for Liberty supporting him, and yet this decision not only affects them, it affects their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, their nieces, future granddaughters, if any. Donald Trump, once he gets elected, he's going to try and stay for life and try and rig it so that the next president will be, who knows, somebody of his choosing, not yours, because he doesn't believe in free and fair elections. So ladies, you are depriving yourself of health care down the road. Moms for Liberty, you don't think he'll take away your rights to vote while you support this guy? At the recent meeting, you talked about, transgender, kids being made into transgender, and you all just, the one woman on stage, I'm blanking on her name, was just like, oh yeah, you're right, Donald, give me a break. Believing in his lies. Meanwhile, he wants to continue to strip away your rights. You don't think you'll lose your right to vote? You don't think that wouldn't be on the chopping block? People like Mark Robinson and other, members of the GOP have talked about a woman's place is at home and everything. That stupid football player who talked to graduating college students, or women, or a majority of them women, saying that they're better off being at home, being the carers of the babies and stuff like that. Yeah, you think it's an exaggeration when we say things or give examples of wanting to go back to The Handmaid's Tale, but we're not exaggerating. This is a possibility now. You may deny it and say, no, that couldn't possibly happen. A lot of us said the same thing about, overturning R.V. Wade, and look what happened there. So, as far as I'm concerned, everything's on the table. You can lose your right to vote, you can continue to lose access to health care, and what's worse, those decisions can also compromise, moving forward to your future generations, to other women and female friends within your group. So that's what I mean when I say to a lot of women, you're voting women for Trump. You are voting against your best interests. And Donald Trump has proven time and time again, he does not care about the rights of women. He doesn't care about women at all. Evangelicals who think you're getting some upside here because it's all about religion and everything and stuff like that. But how far will that get you? Just because of the whole abortion thing? Donald Trump doesn't care about religion. Maybe you might get it so that it'll be more like white Christian nationalism and not so much Christianity. So what, you get your 10 Commandments in the schools and like that. But what does that get you all in the long run and stuff like that? And here's another one. Blacks for Trump. I saw a guy wearing a shirt with the N racial slur saying, I won't say the word, nerf herders for Trump. How stupid was that guy? Here's what I don't understand to the African American or people of color community, where I say you are supporting a person who's described himself as a nationalist, who's proven time and time again what a racist he is. And now you're seeing more of this racism running rampant in GOP. Look at the recent thing with Clay Higgins, stuff like that. And now, you know, in addition to like the birther movement against Barack Obama, and now he's questioning Kamala Harris's identity and everything, to which I say, so what? But he is a racist and everything. And the past few years, you've seen in certain red states where they've been trying to pass laws to restrict voting, and that mostly affects marginalized groups, especially African American communities. So what makes you think this guy is gonna do anything right by you? What makes you think he even cares? Yeah, you get certain people like Byron Donalds and Tim Scott and Mark Robinson, who's been embroiled in scandal. Yeah, they still support this guy. Donald Trump calls Mark Robinson like the Martin Luther King on steroids, which to me I would think that would be offensive to most of you, but some of you out there still support him. The key thing with Donalds and Scott is that they are already politicians and they're doing financially pretty well. So, not to mention how taking away health care, as I was talking about before with Women for Trump, that would also negatively impact women of color. Black women within the African American community. They would suffer considerably as a result of Donald Trump. You don't think you would lose your right to vote with all these voting restrictions going on? And with Donald Trump back in on a second presidential term, that wouldn't increase, that wouldn't continue to happen? And like I said before, about the tariffs and the tax cuts for the wealthy. If you're living in poverty, how is that going to benefit you? The truth be told, it isn't. Ask yourself one question, putting Trump aside for a moment. Byron Donalds and Tim Scott, what have they done for you lately? Have they passed any bill that have helped you or the people in their state? Not just black people, just people in general. Can you name anything? Mark Robinson as lieutenant governor, what has he done for the African American population in his area? He too has also talked about, you know, going back to a time when women can't vote, and you got women in the room cheering and laughing it on. What the hell are you doing? And Donald Trump will do the same thing. That's assuming Mark Robinson wins. I doubt it, because the scandal has really taken a number on his campaign. But even putting Robinson aside, you can't count on Donald Trump because he's a racist and doesn't care about people of color. And yet there are a lot of you out there that still want to support him. Or like saying like, I'm opposed to Trump, or I don't think I'm going to vote for Trump, but I don't know about Kamala. If you don't vote for Kamala, you're basically making it easier for Trump to win. And if he does win, well then, who knows what your future is going to be like. It's not going to be good, I can tell you that much. Same thing when I see other groups like Latinos for Trump, or you know, any type of, look how he likes to demonize immigration. Look how he likes to treat people at the border. I'm not just talking about Mexicans, I'm talking about any Latinos for that matter. As I said before about Blacks for Trump, he is proven to be a racist. So how is that going to benefit you in any way? There are some hate groups out there that support Trump that would love to see America that is all white and all straight. So where does that leave you? When Donald Trump says he's going to do mass deportations, you don't think that would somehow negatively impact you? Who's to stop them and say they just might deport you anyway, even though you are an American citizen? It's not about immigration, that's just a fear tactic. It's more like Trump spreading his bigotry. And that bigotry isn't just limited to African Americans. You can bet that members of the Latino community, when he used to do racist remarks about coronavirus against Asians, or the Chinese I should say specifically, you saw a rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans. So once again, he proving he doesn't care. And what him and JD have been spreading about Haitians. I should go back to that as far as the African Americans go. Now you're seeing Haitians experiencing violence in Springfield. There have been bomb threats and everything. Do they stop lying? No, they keep pushing in on it and stuff like that. Because again, they don't care because they are racist. They like to spread their bigotry. That is why they are supported by, you know, white supremacists and other hate groups out there. There's some that somehow think that like he's playing fair, or like Byron Donalds and Tim Scott. I would love to see them at a Trump rally where you have white supremacists there. where you see Confederate flags being waved, and where you see people like doing the Nazi salute, which has happened. Maybe not recently, but it has happened at Trump rallies. You never saw this at Biden rallies. You're not going to see it at any Kamala Harris rallies, but you do see it at Trump rallies. So once again, I say, if you're blacks for Trump, what are you doing? Latinos for Trump, what are you doing? If you're a Muslim and you still support Trump, I don't know what to tell you. The Muslim ban he did years ago, how he restricted certain Muslim countries, but conveniently left in the ones that he was doing business with, like Saudi Arabia, for example. And like I said, even though he may try and play favor towards Israel, especially with the conflict that's going on, all he wants to do is let Netanyahu do whatever he wants. So if you're a Muslim for Trump, or Palestinian, for example, you know exactly how, he feels towards you. Again, more bigotry and putting faith in a racist. And I don't think just because you're Israeli that you're going to fare any better in this country under a second Trump administration, because like I said, you have the push of white Christian nationalism. So where would your religion fit in? Where would Islam fit in? Where would any other religion fit in to schools? And the answer is it wouldn't. Donald Trump, he'll just do another, shoot tear gas at people and hold up a Bible upside down, a book he knows absolutely nothing about. And yet some of you will still support him. Evangelicals will still support him amidst such acts of violence and stuff like that. I'm not saying this to be comical. I'm not saying this to put you all down or be judgmental. I am saying this, as I've said in the past, I care about the people in my country. Not the rich 1%, but the working class like me. And some of the people out there who are struggling, even in red states. Yes, even if you support MAGA. You may think he's doing the right thing by you. I assure you he's not. You think I'm wrong? Give me some evidence to prove that. Can you name a single accomplishment in his first administration that somehow benefited you? I mean really benefited you or the people in your state. Maybe there might be some rare examples out there. I'm willing to accept that. But the majority of it shows that Donald Trump does not care about America. He does not care about the American people, especially the working class. That he's only interested in catering up to the rich upper class, where he wants to make the wealthy people wealthier. Where, people like Elon Musk are in his favor and stuff like that. And all he expects of you guys to do, in addition to donating him money, but to buy his crap. Those of you out there in MAGA who are complaining about inflation and all this other stuff, yeah, you want to go out and buy these stupid coins or these sneakers or these NFTs. Now he's got what we're supposed to believe are gold watches for like $100K each. And they're going to be, they're going to be some stupid people out there, they're going to be dumb enough to buy this crap. He's capitalizing on all of you, using your money to pay his legal bills and expecting you to support him with a lot of fear-mongering and the idea of scaring you into voting for him, thinking he's the one guy that's going to solve your problems. He isn't. He's not a patriot. He's as un-American as can be. And in the end, you're the ones that suffer. So when I say I'm voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to win, is because I want to see more progress going forward. I want to see them get control of both the Senate and the House so that the GOP can't obstruct any further. Chip Roy, who once screamed, name one thing the GOP has done, and nobody could name anything. You think that's going to get any better under a second Trump administration? No. The only thing the progress is going to be is, like I said, for the wealthy upper class. I know I'm kind of starting to sound like a broken record, but it's the truth, and I got to keep repeating that so some of you understand. So, in the end, I don't expect you to change. I don't expect you to look and reflect and think like, yeah, maybe voting for Trump is the mistake. Some friends of mine who continuously defend him, even though some of the things I try and prove or demonstrate to them, in the back of my mind, I know, well, you're still going to vote for Donald Trump no matter what. So in the end, it is the job of me to save MAGA from MAGA. To save my Trump supporter friends from themselves, because I sincerely believe they are voting against their best interests. Again, it's not to poke fun or judge, it's because, like I said, I care about America. It would be nice if Donald Trump did too, but he doesn't. So we, the majority of the voters who are opposed to Trump, are going to do the right thing for you. You're not going to agree with it, and maybe when Kamala Harris and Tim Walz win, you'll thank me for it down the road. Until then, let's wait and see, and we're going to do what we got to do to win this for America. So, anyway, Thank you for watching. I really hope you understand.